Hey, everybody. Good afternoon, good morning, or good evening, depending on where you might be joining us from in the world today. My name is Meg Alexander. I am, as always, honored and excited to get to host another Power to Fly Chat and Learn virtual event. Now, before we dive in to today's event, Rising Star or Sidestepper, we're going to be talking about how both can help move you up the career ladder. But before we dive into questions, I just want to show you a real quick flash of our code of conduct today. This is what will be guiding all today's event, as well as all of our interactions with each other. It looks like a big wall of scary text and legalese, but I wrote it, so I can tell you it boils down to just don't be a jerk, okay? That's all we ask. Operate from a place of kindness and respect, and it's pretty hard to go wrong from there. If you want questions, or if you have questions, you want more details on this, just DM me, Meg. You can find my name in the drop down in the Zoom chat. You can also write to our help desk inbox, hi@powertofly.com. All right, now this is going to give you kind of the lay of the land to let you know some housekeeping stuff about today's event. This will be especially helpful if today is your first time with us. And if that's the case, then hi, welcome. We're so happy to meet you. Now, the love is no less real for my frequent flyers. Thank you all for joining us time and again. I love seeing your familiar names, faces, and avatars in the chat. So thank you all for joining us today. Now, the big thing to know about Power to Fly events is participation. We want to encourage you all to participate and make the time that you spend with Power to Fly and great companies like RS Americas worth it. So, before we get started, just know that I really encourage you, if you want to turn on your cameras and join with us. Share your smiling, maskless faces with us safely. Now, there is no need to be Instagram perfect. I'm on day 5 of the Messy Bun Dry Shampoo combo. So we do not care if you are coming to us in a bathroom robe, like a bathrobe or a three-piece suit. You can be on your living room couch or corner office. It makes no difference to us. We want to meet you where you are so you can come learn with us. Now, regardless of whether you decide to participate with your camera, you can always jump into the chat. We would love to hear from you there as well. And I will encourage y'all to jump into that chat if you'd like. Please feel free to network with your fellow attendees or reach out to our speaker today. But just make sure that, like I said, as always, we are leading from a place of kindness and respect. Now, to encourage y'all to get in there and be loud, I would love, 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 love to see how far our global audience spreads. Now, oh, I forgot to do a visual descriptor and all that. My name's Meg Alexander. My pronouns are she, her, and hers. I'm a 38-year-old white woman. I have black glasses, a gray sweatshirt, and pink and purple hair and a messy bun. I'm coming to you from Toledo, Ohio. This is land that belonged to the Fox, Kickapoo, and Potawatomi tribes in my area. And if you know whose land you're on, we would love to hear it, and you're welcome to share it with us in the chat. Now, whether it's your first event or your 50th, whether you participate or not, the big thing that you also should know is that we are recording as well as live streaming to YouTube right now. Hey, YouTube. But what the recording means for all of you is you don't have to take notes. You get to sit back, relax, enjoy the conversation that I'm about to have with Jamar Phillips, and not worry if you miss a resource that's listed or a link that's dropped. Okay, what's going to happen is in about 4 to 5 business days, Power to Fly will email everyone that registered for today's event. That's regardless of whether you joined us or not. So future notes, if you're interested in an event, you can't make it, sign up anyway. We'll send you the recording. But what we're going to do is we'll send you a link to where you can rewatch this recording when it goes live on powertofly.com. That's on our main site. Now, let's say that Damar shares something today that is like, oh, mind-blowing, paradigm shifting. You cannot wait 4 to 5 business days to share it with a friend or a coworker or a relative. You don't have to. You can head over to our YouTube channel. We are live streaming there, and the video is usually posted by the end of business today. So you can share all kinds of stuff from there as well. There is a couple playlists of some of our kind of greatest hits, our favorite chats from the past. But one thing I do mention, I do like really encourage, the YouTube channel is very accessible. Obviously, it's way popular and more popular now that the other app is gone away. But I very much encourage y'all to check out the website as well. This is really, powertofly.com is where our full archive of resources live, and they are completely free for all of you. We want to put these resources in the hands of as many people as possible. So if anything that you hear sticks out to you today, if you're intrigued, we really encourage you to not only let other people know about, Power to Fly and what we're doing here, but share the resources that are so helpful to you. That's what we want to encourage. All right. Now, if you have any questions about any of this, please feel free to DM me. Like I said, I'm in the chat, and we'll go over questions in just a minute as well. So Now, before I introduce you to today's speaker, Damar is here on behalf of RS Americas. Now, RS America, they're a global omni-channel provider of product and service solutions for designers, builders, and maintainers of industrial equipment and operations. They provide an unrivaled choice of industrial solutions. They solve problems with innovation, and they deliver best-in-class customer service. RS Americas strives to be an organization that fosters an environment where employees can bring their authentic selves to work every day. Now, as we go through this upcoming chat, if there's anything that kind of sparks your interest, or if we say anything that makes you curious about RS Americas, I very much encourage you to check out their company page. Now, that's what you're seeing on the slide in front of you right now. Every company on Power to Fly, partner company has one of these pages. This is what theirs looks like. The QR code that's at the bottom of that slide, I believe, will take you to this page. Now, once you're there, there's some great stuff you can utilize at Power to Fly. We've got tutorials on stuff of how to utilize the website. But the biggest thing to get you kind of in and out, check out the overview. That's going to tell you more about the company. Something like About and Company Insights usually include interviews. There'll sometimes be information about company culture, ERGs, benefits info is sometimes stored there. There's all kinds of information you can find out on these pages. The big one is the jobs tab. Obviously, that's the one that keeps people coming around. So from there, you can search and apply right through Power to Fly. There's a lot of reasons why I recommend you apply via us as opposed to offsite. But the biggest one is it puts an extra person from Power to Fly watching your progress through the interview and hopefully hiring process with these companies. So if you have questions on that, please feel free to let me know in the chat. I won't waste any more of our time explaining. But I very much encourage you to check out RS Americas. And I think once you listen to Damar talk to us a bit today, you'll understand why he is so passionate about it, about where he works as well. So now, the man of the hour, I'm really excited to introduce you to Damar Phillips. Now, Damar is VP of People for the Americas. Damar is an accomplished and people-centered HR executive with over 2 decades of experience leading transformative human resource strategies across various industries. Damar excels at creating inclusive, high-performing workplaces that foster talent development, engagement, and organizational growth. His leadership style is rooted in strategic collaboration, where he partners with senior leaders to drive business outcomes through effective people management and career building initiatives. Damar oversees global people operations, championing diversity, equity, and inclusion, while leading succession planning, performance management, and employee engagement efforts. Damar, obviously, you are a man with a finger on the pulse of your company and do a lot of really cool things and wear a lot of hats. Is there anything else that you would like our audience members to know about you before we dive into today's questions?
Thanks, Meg. And I need you to introduce me to other places because that was brilliant and amazing. I love your energy and enthusiasm.
Thank you.
I'm just a people first person. Um, I had a brief stint early in my career in accounting and saw the light very quickly and have not looked back. And that has been one of the things that we'll talk about a little bit later is path changes. But I really love people. And I think if you can empower people to find their purpose and align them with what they love to do, then it's not really a job. It's really your life's work, your life's mission that you're often about to be able to accomplish. And so thank you for that wonderful introduction. And I'm so excited to spend some time with you this morning.
Excellent. All right, now I do want to highlight for everybody that we are going to go over some stuff here from Damar. So hold on here, let me add my spotlight for a sec. Now, as we go through, Damar's got kind of a talk that he's got prepared to kind of walk us through. But we scheduled or we kind of built today's event around questions that you all asked at registration. So if you want us to dive in deeper on a question or a subject, if there's terminology that we're using that you want explained, please jump into that chat and let us know. Now, if you have questions that occur to you during today's event, you're here live with us. We want to reward you for that. So please feel free to ask questions. Ask early, ask often. You can put them in the main chat. You can DM them to me, whatever you would like. I'm happy to ask your questions. And if you would like, keep you anonymous. So just please feel free to send stuff in as you go. And I'll be collecting all of your questions. So even if we don't get to it like right after you ask it, we've got visibility on all of them. So, all All right, Tamar, I'm going to turn the stage over to you. So please, let's kind of open up this topic of being a side, kind of that big star or a sidestepper.
Wonderful. And so, first, again, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you're joining us at. I am so excited and thrilled to be a part of this amazing session, Power to Fly's Chat and Learn session. This space is an incredible opportunity to connect, to share, and to reflect on our career journeys. And I'm honored to share some of mine with you today. So, when I began thinking about what could I do to provide something that is meaningful and impactful, the theme Rising Star or Sidestepper truly resonated deeply with me. I think these two paths aren't just career trajectories, they truly represent decisions, growth, empowerment back to the employees, to the people. They are the essence of how we take our own futures into our hands and chart the course that we want for success, however we define that. And so, two things I know about you from joining us today. First, you take your career seriously and you want to improve your professional position. And so today I'm going to share a few things that will help you in doing that. And then, second, I know that you're passionate about developing your gifts and your talents, and you're ready for others to see how talented and truly gifted that you are. So today is our first great step towards that, heading in the right direction and getting your career in to achieve the level of success that you want and to start the new year off. What better way could we do that? Okay, so welcome to our session. This is what I call taking charge of your path. So early in my career, I realized a few things. First, my career was mine to own. And so if you would write in the chat or just say it out loud wherever you're at, say, my career is mine to own. And I'd say that again, my career is mine to own. And so along my journey, I was fortunate enough to have some incredible champions, people I call mentors and advisors and leaders who not only invested in my growth, but also challenged me to think broadly. They taught me that success isn't just about climbing upward, sometimes it's about expanding outward. And so, this idea that growth can be both vertical as well as lateral forms the foundation of today's discussion. So, whether you aim for a moonshot directly to senior leadership to be that C suite executive, or you choose to explore some new areas to build more diverse skills, creating a path that is both uh, different than what you originally envisioned. Both of these paths, whether you're a shining star or you're a sidestepper, requires focus, strategic decisions to be made at some point throughout your career, and a focus and commitment to continuous development. So, the rising star path, let's talk about that briefly first. Rising stars typically are individuals who quickly are recognized within the organization as high potential, high performing, often within months of getting or joining an organization. Their work is exceptional, their energy is undeniable, and their impact is extremely visible. Senior leadership identifies them, invests in them, and sometimes even fast tracks their development. So, what sets rising stars apart? First, I would say the concept of personal branding. They market themselves extremely well, ensuring that their skills and their potential are visible to key decision makers. So, what does that mean? So, personal branding is what instantly comes up when you hear someone's name. For example, if I say Tim Cook, the CEO of Apple, or Doug McMillon, the CEO of Walmart, or in pop culture terms, the name Taylor Swift, Beyonce, what word comes to mind? Do you think pop star, billionaire, philanthropist? What happens if I say GOAT, greatest of all time? Someone's name like a Serena Williams or Michael Jordan. When you hear those names, could you put in the chat for me what word comes to mind when I said those people? Just briefly. I see driven innovators, absolutely top of the game, genius. Absolutely. You're absolutely right. A strong personal brand does wonders for your career. Why is that? Because this can be accomplished in several different ways and can be done either through your internal network within your organization or externally through platforms like LinkedIn. Attending sessions such as these, whether you're a presenter or just in the audience, also can give you ideas to help you to be able to connect, to be able to create opportunities so that your name, your brand can be visible. So, how would you do something like that? First, Serena didn't start out being the greatest of all time. It took hard work and effort. And so, through consistency, through frequency, through being highly visible, she was able to accomplish greatness. And so, consistency is when you're able to do the same thing repeatedly across the different platforms that expose you, whether it's internally or externally. You are the recognizable you. You're who you are wherever you show up, whichever door you enter, whichever room you sit down in. Frequency. So, how often are you making your accomplishments known? Visibility is an additional way to help make the work and the brand that you want to be known for visible to people, and it can also help you advance your career. I would advise each of you to connect with two or three people, even from this session here. I can be one of them, but I don't have to be the only one. There are various names within the chat that's flowing through. And sometimes through that connection, you can find a common purpose and shared vision that can ignite passion and help you have another resource to help you in your roles. I think the other thing that they did extremely well is execution excellence. They deliver on projects as these high achievers, right? They deliver on projects with precision, within budget, and often have the buy in from stakeholders. What does this mean? That means that they have gone department by department, leader by leader, person by person to make sure that what they're going to put out is going to be supported within the organization. I think addition to this, it's communicating expectations. If you don't know where you're going, literally any road can lead you there. However, a specific roadmap to your destination typically gets you there faster without all the detours. The other thing that they have perfected over time is strategic navigation. And what do I mean by that? They actually master the political and relational dynamics within their organization, building stellar reputation and fostering trust among those key decision makers. Also, along the journey, remember to seek the advice and counsel of excellent mentors, advisors, confidants, people that you trust that will provide you with real feedback to determine what your current personal brand is and the areas that could potentially be blind spots that you need to correct on your career path. And now, since I've talked about the rising stars, what about the sidestepper path? And we'll talk through a little bit of those. So, on the other hand, sidesteppers, they also often chart a very different course. They recognize the need or even the desire to shift, to change, to modify their path, whether it's to a new functional area or an entirely new career. And while this path can seem unconventional at times, it is no less valuable. Sidestepping allows the accumulation of diverse experiences, which can be transformative. So, some of the keys to success of a sidestepper include this: patience and perseverance. Career moves don't often happen overnight. Playing the long game can open unexpected doors. Most achievements in your career won't be the result of an instant overnight success. Rather, it's the result of strategically working through it and building a body of work that versus just an overnight win. But still, you must know within your own timing when you should move on. We have a saying in the South: don't overstay your welcome. That same holds true in departments, on teams, and within organizations. Know when it's time to seek promotional opportunity, to build your portfolio of experience, as well as when to leave a team, a department, or an organization. I also think strategic movement and mobility is important. Don't linger too long in one role or department. Broaden your experiences to avoid being typecast. You see actors all the time who play certain roles become very well known for that role, and it's very difficult for them to branch out into other forms of acting, whether it's someone who's extremely funny trying to do a dramatic role or vice versa. And so it will help you to, in the longer term, by being flexible for growth, but understand when you need to move and being flexible to do so. Some signs of lingering, you may ask, hey, how do I know if I'm staying somewhere too long? Well, you might be lingering in your job if you feel a lack of motivation, if you feel that you're not actively seeking out opportunities and no one is actively looking for you. You're the go-to person for one thing, and that one thing no one else can do, right? That experience and that sense of stagnation can impact your ability to grow in the future. And so make sure that you are aware of that. Potentially due to a lack of challenges, limited growth prospects, you may feel like you're stagnant, and you're probably right. So if I could ask the group a question, does anyone right now feel that you might be lingering a little too long? Yes, no, don't have to say what it is or which company it is, but, or even just to yourself, just be truthful, right? So, how do you help reverse that? I think also you need champions and mentors within both, whether you're a rising star or if you're a sidestepper, you still need champions and mentors. And by building that strong, authentic relationship with those who advocate for you, that is crucial. From the first section reference about how to find a mentor in business, some people need a nudge to find one. If you're that person, I would just speak to colleagues and peers that you trust to say, hey, do you have a mentor? Do you know what that is? Right? Most people are just flattered that you want to be mentored by them. And so just ask them. They're not going to yell at you or get upset that you've asked. So, a couple of things to think about when finding a mentor, though. What is your current role? Talk to them about your goals. Is this something that they have expertise in? Can it align with the direction that you're wanting to pursue? Also, does it align with the path that you seek in a future relationship? And then meet maybe once a month, once a week, depending on the frequency that you need. You and your mentor can help develop that timing. I know currently I have mentees that I meet with at least once a month. Sometimes I have a few that are once a quarter, just based off of both of our busy schedules. And to be honest with you, I've done both routes. I've experienced both paths. At one point in my career, I find myself doing work of several leaders, but without the title and compensation to match. For me, that was a pivotal moment, one that taught me that I needed to advocate for myself. The very first question I said was, hey, I own my career. My career is mine. And that is because of this experience that I had. And so what I decided was, after receiving responsibility for multiple teams without a title increase and a pay increase, I decided, you know what? It's time for me to go. And at the company that I was at, the world's largest in the world at the time, it was the right decision. I was there for over 10 years within that organization, and I had spent 3.5 years within the same department, the same team, managing most of the work. 4 out of 5 teams that were there, I led. But when I took my career in my own hand, I was determined to get out and to grow. I promoted 4 times over the next 6.5 years. And so once you decide that you are ready and able to grow and want to do more, I would suggest making a plan to execute it with perfection. And so some of the lessons for my professionals, for every professional, whether you are a rising star or a side stepper, certain truths hold. First, success is never handed to you. It is built through hard work, relationships, and resilience. Growth often means embracing discomfort, pushing through the boundaries, the barriers, taking some risk, and then learning from your failure. I don't fear failing. What I fear is not learning from failure, right? So you can't make an omelet without breaking some eggs, in other words. So try, learn, learn the lessons, move on, but don't repeat the mistakes of the past. And your career isn't going to be a straight line. Sometimes it's a journey of discovery, full of twists and turns and things that are expected or unexpected. But ultimately, it is yours that will lead to fulfillment. So, one more question for you guys. What path have you decided to take? Are you a sidestepper or are you going straight up as a rising star? But remember this, if you remember nothing else, always bet on yourself. You are your own career, and your career is yours to own. And definitely, you are the best investment that you could make throughout your life. I think we have had some questions. Meg, if you want to jump in, um, we can talk about anything that you want or ask me anything.
Absolutely. Well, I love like all the points you made. Oh my gosh. As you were going through and talking about the different like the lingering thing, like that absolutely hit me. Tyson commented in the chat saying that he doesn't think he's lingering because he just started a new fresh position. However, this makes so much sense as I reflect over the last 5 years. And if you've seen one or two of these chats before, I absolutely love my job and worked a lot of jobs that were not ideal because,
Right.
millennial. But it is one of those things that as I look back, I'm like, oh, that's partially why it was so hard for me in that role because I didn't connect to
Right.
this. It wasn't meant for me. It wasn't something that I was clicking within. I just hadn't found my room yet, but it very much is like really, really echoing here. Um, oh my gosh. Okay, so I'll give y'all a chance here. I see we're getting new messages in the chat. So I
Wonderful.
absolutely love all of this. If y'all have anything that you want to dive in deeper with from what Damar was talking about, please feel free. Oh, Mary chimed in. Mary says, if we aren't active in our own rising, then how do we rise? You put out all the steps in a non-corporate way. And I very much agree with this. Like when you're saying that nobody's going to care about your career as much as you do, it's not a downer phrase. It's a you should, you should really care about this and you have to be the champion because other people are going to take their cues from you.
That's
You're
right.
the one that's leading the car trip or leading like you're the one that's on the road trip, right? If you don't tell anybody where you're going, you don't share the access to the tunes, you don't do anything, they're not going to be able to help you. They have no idea what's going on.
Absolutely. And I'm not absolving the organization of our
Oh,
responsibility at
oh yeah.
all.
Yeah.
So as people, as I talk to even my own team, right? One of the first conversations I had, I'm relatively new to this role. I've been in other roles, but I've been here for about 5 months. One of the first discussions, even before I asked them about their jobs and their duties, my first question to them was, if you want to replace me, I need to know. That way
Mm.
we can start on your development journey to get you to this place, right? What do you want to achieve in your career and how I can help you? I believe leaders, executives, directors, senior directors, whoever it is, we're in position to remove barriers and blockers for our people to be successful and succeed. And if I'm the blocker, I can't promote until I have someone that can take my role, right? So it's important for me to provide opportunity for my team for visibility, to be able to have access to the executive leadership team, to be able to put together the PowerPoint presentations and the discussion topics that they need to educate our ELT on, right? And so that's for me as a leader and my obligation there. However, we have to meet you halfway, probably even
Yes.
more than halfway, right?
Well,
Because
because
you
you
have
hold
to
all the
know which
cards,
direction you're
yeah.
going.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So,
No,
other
as I'm
questions?
listening to you, yeah, I'm thinking the same thing of like, it's not to say that the organization doesn't bear some responsibility there. If you have an org that has anything in place like this, that is awesome and you should fully be like utilizing it. And if they have something in place and it's not enough, you should still utilize it so that way you can say, hey, this is good, but we could also be doing, blah, 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 blah. So there's that there, but I very much appreciate that answer. Yes, you're
Oh,
absolutely right.
absolutely. The other
Yeah.
thing I saw something flash through, not every organization has good leaders, right? Great leaders. I would
Hmm.
say if that is the case, then that's an opportunity for you in and of itself.
Oh yeah.
Because if you have compassion, the ability to display empathy, excellent communication skills, um, then that is a skill set that organizations can lack, but it's an opportunity for you to be able to grow. The other thing it is don't feel like you're obligated to one company and have to stay there for 40, 50, 60 years. That does not
Yes.
exist anymore.
Y'all, the
Leave.
gold watch is not real. It hasn't been for a grip, like half a
Exactly.
generation. Come on.
And when it's a disconnect between your level of commitment to the organization and the lack of that same commitment the organization has towards you, then that's a marriage that's doomed. It's going to head for divorce. Feel free to disconnect. Find the right opportunity. One thing
So
before
it's
I examine, I
go. Yeah, yeah,
know
yeah.
this question. One thing that I did before I came to RS Americas is I looked at the company's sustainability statements. They had things that mirrored my core values as a person, right? Attract, engage, develop, retain was written in our ESG corporate sustainability statement. People were front and center, very visible, not a balance sheet number. And so I knew there was a real commitment that the organization has for diversity, equity, and inclusion, for training and development and learning and development things, for investing in people, bonus and incentive types of programs. We want people to grow. And then as I have conversations with different departments and different teams, I'm telling them as a people function, our main responsibility is to help you grow personally, professionally, and financially. I want to teach you life skills, things that you can learn in your job that you take home. For example, budgeting or how to negotiate. If you can learn negotiation skills within the office and then have to go purchase a new car, guess what? You're going to put those skills to use. And so it helps you financially when you go to, argue with that salesperson that's trying to increase the interest rates or whatever that is. And
Yeah.
so fundamentally, loving people that aligns with what I'm doing, the core values of the organization align with what I'm wanting to do. And as Courtney and others can attest, I put my money where my mouth is. I am as invested in them as they are in the organization.
Oh my God. I'm sorry. I'm watching the comments roll into what you're saying here. Let's see. We have another question that came in, but before we get to that, let's see. Gabriel chimed in saying it's a reality of the phrase, people will only do as much as you guide them to, and you also have to be willing to leave when the situation is no longer for you. Damar, you had referenced like a bad marriage, and it's so funny that you said that because I read a book right before I got married, like 7 or 8 years ago, called Spouseonomics, and I
Mm,
recommend it to people all the time because it's about marriage, but it's also about they use economic principles and talk about it in the term of like in the guise of interpersonal relationships. And so mostly
oh,
it's your domestic partnership, but it can absolutely be applied to like friendships, businesses, whatever.
yeah,
But it's fascinating because I knew nothing about economics, and they talk about stuff like the sunken cost fallacy, which is exactly that point of, well, I've been here for 20 years, and the devil that you know is better than the one you don't, and blah blah, and how bad things have to actually be for you to
right.
decide that that sunken cost of all the years that you've spent here or whatever is no longer worth staying and just sticking it out. Because
Absolutely.
like you said, gold watch,
It's
not a thing. Like,
it's
no.
Stockholm syndrome, right? So
Yes.
you fall in love with your abuser and
Yeah.
you stay in a dead end situation that's not working. Look,
Well,
I
and like,
want to retain every employee that I have. The reality is sometimes I'm not going to be able to pay them what they're truly worth for
mm-hmm.
whatever reason, whether it's budgets, whether it's this or that. And as I work to improve the overall situation, there are going to be some outliers that's just not possible to do.
Yeah.
I'm happy for you. If that's the conversation that you have to have with me, I'm going to hate that I lose you, but I'm going to be so excited that you're doing the best for your family and taking care of your needs. But if
Mhm.
you're staying out of fear instead of going out of opportunity, then that's a problem. And that's one that we have to work on.
Yeah.
Change is not easy. I think change is very difficult at times.
Oh
But if
gosh,
you're
yeah.
doing it for the right reasons, guess what? it's going to work out. Take
Most
the
of the stuff
risk.
worth doing is going to be, it's going to have that risk. It's going to have that like, oh gosh, factor to it. All right. Sylvia chimed in the chat. She wanted to know, is there such a thing as a career coach or career therapist? The process of pivoting, finding mentors, etc., is not only tough in the practical manners, but also emotionally. Okay, I got answers for you, but people came to hear you talk. So, Damar, what would you say to Sylvia?
I would say career coach. Look, I've been extremely fortunate over my career to be exposed to some of the greatest leaders in the world, especially during my time at Walmart and then some of the other places that I've been. I would look back in the organizations that you've left. One, it's difficult in the current place to have transparent conversations because sometimes you really don't know if what you're saying gets back to people because you're not fully aware of all the interconnected relationships that people have. So
Mhm.
most of my mentors and peers and people that counsel me are outside of the organization. I have no fear of retaliation. I know it's not coming back in, and I can establish a trusting relationship with them where I can keep the anonymity of the company, but I can talk about the issue and they give me solid advice. I recommend finding people that you have worked with in the past, people that you've trusted in the past, if you're at a new organization, if they exist, because sometimes they don't. I think the other people that you can look at, just as that counseling, is if you go to services or church, people that that you have a relationship with outside of work that can provide you with a trusted advisory type of feedback where there's no judgment. Because the main thing about providing feedback is that you don't want the person's judgment. You want them to
Mhm.
be able to hear, to be able to provide some feedback, but not judge you in the process. I have people that will kick me in the tail when I'm wrong. I have people that will be the biggest cheerleader for me and praise every single thing that I do. And I have those people that's going to tell me like it is no matter what. You like it, you don't like it. DeMar, you did a bonehead thing. This is the result. Now, how are you going to fix it? For me, it's about extreme ownership, accountability, responsibility. But I have those different people. And so in your network, I am certain that you have people that you rely on, that you think it's just, shooting the breeze, but it's the same people over and over. I would look at that group first because they can be very impactful for you and give you that solid feedback. One, without you being offended with what they say because you have that long trusted relationship. And two, they're removed from your organizational issues, right? So there's no risk of that getting back inside. That's what I would do. But as far as a career counselor or career coach specific to that, that might be an opportunity for you to create a business. I'm just saying, entrepreneurship is high, so I
Mhm.
would move forward with it.
And if this is something that you are not maybe wish was a thing you could do as opposed to wish it is a thing you could start,
Yep.
I can tell you personally, I have worked with a couple different career coaches over the years, some with greater degrees of success, but a lot without success because I myself was not clear on what I was doing. I didn't really know how to make the most of the experience. It was a bit wasted on me, frankly, and that's on me.
Yeah.
But I now get to host chats with people who absolutely do this, some of whom are partners with Power to Fly. I literally just talked to Rachel Surwitz from I Am Woken yesterday. Like there are tons of people that we work with that do this kind of stuff. And we've got a bunch of chats and stuff on them. So I threw some
Yep.
links in the chat thread here if you're interested in chats on mentorship. If you're interested in a lot of people will like reach out to like approach for mentorship, but you might not actually need that. Maybe what
Right.
you're actually asking for is like a referral or a warm introduction to someone about
That's right.
something. So I've just put a couple links in there for past events that have been on that subject. You can always search our all of our references, all of our resources by subject as well. And if you're having any trouble finding what you're looking for on Power to Fly, always do hi, just email us at hi@powertofly.com.
And I love that. And also, if you're very active on LinkedIn, there are different people with different levels of education around this topic and this subject. And so I've had several people that have reached out to me in the past that, hey, I've seen some of the posts that you've made. Can you do this or can you do that? I would love to connect and talk through that. That might be an opportunity for you, right? So read the post on LinkedIn, see if there's someone that's speaking the language.
All right. I think we might have lost Amar's video, but that's okay. We'll figure it out and get him back moved in here. Until he comes back, I do just want to re-highlight for y'all, if you are at all interested, if anything that we've said today piques your interest about RS Americas, take a look at their company page. I'm going to throw the link in the channel again as well. You can take a look at their open roles. The other thing I want to encourage you to do is follow them, and I'll tell you more about how you can do that in the last 5 minutes of today's chat. All right. So, to get us to another question here. Okay. We talked a little bit about like personal branding and that kind of thing. A lot of people were interested in practical ways to pursue promotions with purpose. So, I want to break this down. Let's talk about what pursuing a promotion with purpose actually looks like, and then let's talk about some of the practicalities of how you do that.
Yeah. So, you know, first I would start with your performance, right? So if you are not performing, asking for a promotion is probably not the time to do it, right?
Mhm.
I would say look at your last evaluation and look at if you are a business that have OKRs or objectives and key results or any sort of performance metrics. Make sure that you are exceeding expectations, delivering, as I mentioned, on time, within budget, performing the way the organization needs. If all those boxes are checked, then the conversation with your supervisor is where I would start, right? Because first, your supervisor has to champion the whatever it is that you're doing. The first call that's made typically when someone is applying for a different role or wanting to go to a different area or even receive a promotion, that first conversation is with that supervisor. How is their performance? How is this? How is that? Make sure that that relationship is stellar. Now, if you have a difficult supervisor, if the supervisor is the problem and you don't feel comfortable in that, I would actually have the conversation with human resources,
Yeah.
specifically your human resource business partner that can champion reviewing your situation and working with the team to be able to get a promotion opportunity for you. On my team, what I have done is look within the organization, identify we have a need, and then identify with the business owner, the functional leader. In our case, we call it the executive leadership team. Here is the area of opportunity. Here's the list of individuals who potentially could do the work. What are your thoughts on this group? And typically, someone rises to the top. We approach that individual. Hey, here's an opportunity for you. We've worked on salary, worked on these things. Now, I get it. I might be a little bit different than some, but it starts with having a wonderful relationship with the supervisor and an excellent relationship with the human resources department or people department within your teams to be able to help champion your promotion. The other thing you can do, though, to prepare your supervisor is market research. It doesn't hurt for you to already have what the comp levels are, the position details, what you're willing to do in order to receive that promotion, and have a plan. So I would go into those sessions. Hey, I need to talk to you about my career development. I've been here for X number of months, years. I'm ready to do more. I believe this is the area that I could do. And I've already pulled the market data for you to be able to see, hey, this is where the market is. And I believe my compensation is under market, at market, should be above market based off of my last evaluations and the value that I add so that you give them something to think about.
Yeah, Tyson's chiming in the chat saying evidence-based content from an analytics approach will help you to gain the confidence you need in a promotion. I started tracking all of the things I do 2 months into my new role, and it feels liberating knowing one day I'll have all this data to contribute to my request for some sort of promotion. Tyson, I cannot second that enough. That is awesome. That is a great idea.
That's
I
wonderful.
also I do this, but I do this with like if somebody sends you kudos, I have a kudos folder in my email and I will drag stuff like copy stuff in there. So that way as I'm getting like, hey, that was a great job on that meeting today, or thanks for covering for me last minute. That was really nice. I
Absolutely.
will as I read them and I'm like, oh, I feel so warm and fuzzy. I literally throw them into the kudos folder, like add that extra label on it or whatever. And then when I either have a really, really bad day and I'm like, I am shit at this job. How did I ever stumble into this? What am I doing? Then I can go back and be like, no, actually, you're not cringe all the time. People do like listening to you. They enjoy, blah, 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 all of that stuff, right? But it's also excellent when you're like ready to go for a promotion or you need to say, like, hey, I want to apply to blah, blah, blah. And this is some of the things that I've done. You don't then
Absolutely.
have to be like, what did that person say about me that was nice? Because if you're my brain doesn't remember the nice things, just the mean ones. So,
Well, and the other thing, Meg, is that that kudos folder, and Courtney, the kudos folder has the people's names who said that. That means you've done some outreach and that you've had some impact into what they have done. And typically, they're not in your department. You're helping and assisting other departments. And so, if your reputation across the business exceeds, right, the value that you're adding to your team, then that promotion is going to be almost virtually guaranteed because
yeah.
people see you in a different light. They see you in a different role. And that respect that you have garnered by those relationships has a dollar value associated with it. So when your
Yes.
name is brought up in rooms that you're not in, that's when you know that promotion is close because
Yeah.
you are the go-to person for every department, every lead. Well, why is this person not a senior manager instead of just the manager? They are the experts that we go to. They're always who comes to mind first. They're on the project team. They're doing this.
You come to mind. You want to be
Teamwork,
top of mind for people. Yeah.
absolutely. Teamwork, collaboration, partnership, those soft words that have tremendous value and upside, you can't
Well,
undersell it.
and this is the thing. Like, here's the thing. You can call them soft skills and immediately sounds pejorative and less than, even though it is not. All right. Soft skills are the things that you develop by being a person who exists on the planet. Okay. If you want to be talking about like respect your elders, that's why we do it because they have that experience, right? So that is the thing of realizing that these are not just skills that are only useful in the working world, but these are skills that you develop and use every day. You just don't connect them to what you could use them for in the working world because, nobody's made that connection yet. Now, we
Yeah,
had a question along these lines too. This person wanted to know if you could provide an example of how you would leverage your personal brand on a job search. So, if somebody's going in, or can you give us an example that you've done? How do you communicate this is what my personal brand is while you're trying to speak to a hiring manager?
I think you start by putting it in your or how I've done it is I've modified my resume to have like a executive summary. And the things that resonate within my executive summary are the things in which my personal brands speak to. So, for example, diversity, equity, inclusion, right? I am an inclusive individual. People are my passion, those types of things. I modify my executive summary to be that. And then when you show your LinkedIn profile, that is your brand, that is on your resume. So when I click your resume link and it takes me to your LinkedIn profile, and I see that you run over cats, you hit old ladies, are throwing bottles at
Hey,
people walking across the
my
street
LinkedIn profile into this, sir. Come on. I thought this would be a civil discussion. God.
because it's a mismatch, right? And so
Yeah.
what we typically do is we make the resume look really, really great and it's fantastic. And then when I do a profile link and I go through that, I see that you have been, cussing people out, been disrespectful, been all these things, and it's a mismatch. And so your personal brand is off. There's a disconnect. So I would say the first thing you need to do is make sure that your resume and your LinkedIn profile are linked and synced together. And then as I scroll down, there's an activities linked on your profile. I see what articles you read, what things you like that also speak to that.
Yeah.
So when I ask you a question in the interview, tell me about yourself. I don't care about your background from an education standpoint, unless it's my alma mater. Then you're probably going to notice that about me, and you're going to talk about Oklahoma State Cowboys. We're going to talk about how dismal our football season has been, or Dallas Cowboy,
Hoosiers,
and talk about the
right there
same.
with you.
But what you're going to do is you're going to say, hey, I noticed that you donate to these various charities, that Feeding America is something that you're associated with, that breast cancer awareness is one of those things. Those things are interconnected with who I am as a person, right? And how I speak about those things, the passion in which I exude about them, that is how you know that my personal brand, me talking about something and me walking the talk and walking the walk, those types of things are aligned. It's only when there's a disconnect in those things that it becomes obvious to the interviewer, because we're very good at separating the people that are real versus those aren't, which is also why authenticity matters.
Yep. It's easier, y'all. It's way easier.
Authenticity is up there. And, I think
Courtney's also correct. She's chiming in saying your actions speak louder than your words. And it's like you said earlier, your personal brand is what you want people to say about you when you're not in the room. Okay.
absolutely.
So if that is the case, don't get me wrong. I absolutely ascribe to the fake it till you make it kind of thing of like, you know what? And I start this even small with like my little like nibblings and stuff. Like,
Yep,
you're a hardworking person, you're a smart person, you're a person that tries. But also like you can do it that way, right? You can be the person that's like, I want people to say that I bring creativity and fun to every project that I do because those are two things I know that I bring. Now I can also add
absolutely.
creativity, fun, and innovation. And I can like, you know what I mean? Like it's aspirational. I can make sure that I'm bringing that innovation. But
That's right.
the part of it is something I already know that I know how to do. So I can stand in my zone of genius, as Milena calls it, and be able to say, this is what I know how to do, and I can learn to do anything else you want me to do. But
That's
I can
right.
be authentic and I know who I am. So this is what I want said about me when I'm not here.
And Meg, I think you had provided three questions. Describe the culture. What's the favorite part of working at RS Americas?
Yes.
The last one was interview tips, right? And it
Yes.
speaks to this right here. So one of the interview tips I said was be prepared, be yourself. Authenticity shines brighter than anything else. Celebrate your accomplishments, but always remain grounded in teamwork and collaboration. And remember, never dim your light to make others shine, but never use your brightness to overshadow anyone else. I think
There it
if
is.
you can provide that level of comfort within the interview and know what you know and be honest with what you don't, I think that shines through. I would always take someone who has recognized what their weaknesses are and has a plan of how they're going to overcome them than someone who thinks they're great at every single thing and does not have a single flaw. I'm a
Right.
person, I'm a human. I make mistakes. I make mistakes every day. I've made mistakes during the course of our conversation today.
And anyone
However,
who tells you different is selling something. Like, come on.
exactly, I'm not defined. You're not defined by your mistakes. You're defined by how you rise above it and move forward. And so, uh, to me, that's extremely important. That's what I appreciate. So, any other questions? I love this. I could talk all day.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, we got more. I think we can get to probably one more before we need to call it and start sharing some other links and stuff.
All right.
Okay. Oh, all right. So this person wanted to know, what would you say to someone who had been outperforming their peers but keeps getting told that they don't warrant a promotion? I've gone through this,
Move,
but I think it would benefit to hear some answers from others.
move.
Um, Damar,
I'm
go
move.
for it, and I'm gonna grab some links to share.
You're lingering. You've loitered. You're holding up the whole team without the recognition, without the respect. You add value. You are perfect whoever you are, but it's time for you to take your career in your own hand and move. If it's within the same company, great. Find that opportunity, but move. Um, you're going to be experiencing wage compression where you are, which means that people that they hire in is going to make more than you because the market has shifted, and you're going to start resenting the organization. And resentment breeds your performance suffering, and you don't want to be labeled as a non-performer. So I would say it's time for you to move, or it's time for you to speak with the HR people department to share your experiences. And if they want to retain you, trust me, they'll meet you wherever you're at. But if they don't, that's a sign that it's time for you to go for real.
Mhm.
But
All
I would
right, I
say you
put a link
stay
in the
too long.
chat. I put one link in the chat that's a search of website for promotion. I will also tell you search negotiate because been a really I can't remember her name. I can picture her right now, but we've talked to people on negotiation and how they would handle situations just like this. So please feel free to check that out.
Yep.
Chloe has just chimed in the chat thread saying, Damar, just wanted to say that this has been incredibly inspiring and encouraging. I got a lot of value out of this, and I really appreciate your insight and knowledge. Mary says we need this entire discussion as an audio tape. I agree. I think we are podcast bound. Um, and
That's awesome.
Mary also chimes in about the don't overshadow others thing. I absolutely love that. Like, let your light shine. It should absolutely shine bright, but your light should never dim or should never shade someone else's. So I
Yeah,
think that's
and
really good.
yeah, because I don't think you have, your skills, your strengths, your capabilities will come through. I don't think you have to make yourself, bludgeon someone else in order to stand apart. You're going to do that.
Yeah, you don't need to fail so I can win.
That's right. It's
No.
big enough for all of us.
Heck yes. All right. Okay. So, in the last couple minutes that we have you here, I do just want to highlight again a little bit about RS Americas. So, their page is in front of you, y'all. You can see it right here. One thing that I want to highlight on this. So, from this tab, if you are interested in learning more about RS Americas, check out our various tabs over here: overview, about, and company insights. Company insights will also show you things like events, like things that like today. So if there are more events coming up already planned and like set up for pre-registration for this company, it will be there. This is also where you can search resources that this company has given us. So ask the recruiter videos, blog posts about how you can best apply. There's all kinds of information there. So I very much recommend that you check out these pages. Now, especially if you think you might go into an interview or want to try and reach out to kind of touch base with somebody at RS Americas, I very much recommend that you take a look at this page because there will be interviews, there will be content in here that you can read up on and ask questions about that will hopefully set you apart from the other 500 people that only want to talk about the latest Business Insider article that has been forwarded around LinkedIn like 400 times. So if you want to stand out, or if you want to at least make your research a little more interesting when it comes to these companies, I very much recommend you check out these pages. Now, the other way that you can utilize this to help in your job search, Power to Fly wants to make this easier on y'all, okay? We know nobody likes job hunting because why? There has yet to be a reality competition show based around it. So if you are interested, if you are actively seeking or not, I very much recommend that you check out this big pink button right here on the page, these company pages. If you smash that follow button, it's going to do some great things for you. But basically, what it does is it allows Power to Fly to tell that company that you're interested in working with them even before you fill out an application. So, this is a great option if you are actively job seeking, but don't see a listing right now that's like, boom, perfect. I have to apply to that. Okay. So, it's a really, really good way to kind of, get on their radar. Now, the other thing is it will also allow Power to Fly to keep you informed when that company, or as many companies as you follow on Power to Fly, posts new roles. Now, if you want even more like dialed in specific than that, you can also sign up instead for a job roundup through Power to Fly. Give us your preferences and we will send you listings like the ones that with RS America that get posted that match what you're looking for. So truly, y'all, apply smarter, not harder, search smarter, not harder. Let us take some of the weight off of you and make sure that you are, kind of set up to go. Even if you're not actively job seeking, I definitely recommend that you follow RS Americas because that way, when you do decide that you are curious about what's out there, you can come back to Power to Fly and have a short list of companies that walk the walk and talk the talk when it comes to DEIB. So this is, I very much recommend it. I sing the praises because I want this all to be easier for all of you. All right, now, um, I want to take the last second here. Damar, thank you so much. This has been wonderful. I very much enjoyed talking to you. Obviously, our audience members loved listening to you. But thank you so much. We're so grateful that you shared your time and your expertise, and I very much hope we get to do this again.
Me too, and it was amazing. So I look forward to it. Have a wonderful, blessed weekend, everyone.
Yes. All right, y'all, that is going to bring us to the end of time today. But whether today was your first Power to Fly event or your 50th, I sincerely hope it will not be your last. Now, go out there, have the day that you deserve. Have a safe, happy, healthy rest of your day, week, and weekend. And like I said, I hope it will not be too long before we see you again. Have a nice night, y'all. Bye.